Good morning, everybody. I'm Ken Fuston, Springfield Fire Chief. To my left is a member of the Springfield Fire Department Fire Safety Division, Senior Fire Investigator Captain Mitch Ruger. And to the right is Deputy Chief Cliff Busher of the Springfield Police Department. We're here to discuss some recent fires up in the Enos Park area, specifically the fire at 1111 North 4th Street on May the 15th. Members of the Fire Safety Division have determined that fire that burned that house down, as well as the two houses on each side of that, to be an arson fire. They're also investigating as many as 9 other suspicious fires in the Enos Park area at the following addresses: 919 North 9th Street. There were 2 fires at that location. 901 North 7th, 609 South 5th, 710 North 5th, 919 North 9th, and 400 Hay Avenue. Again, there's 9 different fires in the Enos Park area since May the 14th. Those are all, we consider them all to be suspicious fires. With that, we'll take any questions as to this, and I'll defer some of the questions to Captain Ruger as well as Deputy Chief Cliff Busher.
Chief, you know the night of the fire on 4th Street, there was also a car fire reported on North 7th Street. Is that connected to those North 4th Street fires? We
consider that to be a suspicious fire, but we do not know if they're connected.
But you believe all these others are in fact connected?
We don't know if they're connected. There's 9 suspicious fires. We're not prepared to say if they're connected or not.
Is it reasonable to assume, though, when you have that many in such a confined geographic area in a short period of time, that that's not just random coincidence?
I'll leave that assumption up to you, Jim. But we are looking into that.
Is there any indication it may be the same person or persons?
That is being looked into. We will not discount that.
Are you saying they're suspicious because you found accelerants and other things that go along with a suspicious fire, or is it just that there's no reason for the fire to start?
We'll leave that answer to the Senior Fire Investigator. He's got more information than I do on that.
Mitch, can you step to the microphone and give us a sense? Are these all similar in origin? Do they all start the same way?
Without releasing too much information about our cause and origin investigation, I'm just going to say that all these fires are under investigation. They're all being looked into by the fire investigators of the Springfield Fire Department in conjunction with the Springfield Police detectives. Yes.
Has anybody been injured in these fires? Any firefighters?
We have no reports of injuries at this time.
Are they all residential fires? Are there dumpster fires, car fires?
Vehicle fires and resident and structure fires, yes.
All homes, or the garages, sheds?
Garages, homes, and vehicles at this time. Yes, the one residence was vacant. And one residence was the main fire scene, and the other 2 on each side of it were the exposures. Garages and vehicles. Yes.
The North 4th Street, those are the only actual residences that burned, the rest are either garages or vehicles.
Yes.
If there is, in fact, a fire bug out there in this area, what do people need to know? How do they take precautions? How do they protect against becoming a victim of this?
The Springfield Fire Investigation Team was out walking the neighborhood, passing out flyers. We're just asking people to be aware of their surroundings. Take a second look at that person that just doesn't belong, or that you feel is suspicious, and don't be afraid to call in. We'd rather check out something that's nothing than not be called on something.
You want to call 911?
I'll leave that to Deputy Chief Busher.
Is there any indication that any of the property owners have some sort of relationship amongst each other?
No, that connection has not been made.
And you've not seen anything as far as a description of a possible suspect or some common thread that extends through all of these that might give people some idea of what to look out for?
Working alongside the Springfield Police detectives, we are following up on some leads. We do have some videos we're looking at, some eyewitnesses we're talking to. We're trying to draw some kind of correlation, or we're just trying to track everything down at this point.
Could you maybe step to the mic for a moment too, from the police investigation side of this? Are there things that people should be looking out for, or common threads that you're watching out for?
Just for the public right now, anything suspicious, like we always say, there are eyes and ears. If they see something that looks out of place, like Mitch said, You can call Crime Stoppers, you can call our non-emergency number. We'd rather come out and check out 10 people that belong in the neighborhood just on the off chance we come across a possible suspect. Now, if they actually see somebody up by a building or by a car and they think they're trying to ignite a fire or they believe they're doing something they shouldn't be, then by all means they can call 911 and we'll get a car out there immediately.
Anybody of interest?
We have some people of interest. We're looking at several of them. Nobody that I would label as a suspect yet, but we do have several things that we're trying to track down on this.
What makes these people of interest?
I don't want to give all that away at this point, but there's some reasons. There's some people we're looking at for various different reasons.
Are all these fires late night fires? Are they occurring all times of the day?
Most of them are late at night.
Do these just appear to be random, or is there something that would suggest that there are particular locations being targeted?
The fact that they're all up in the same neighborhood, we're trying to find out if we can tie them all together. At this point, we don't have anything that ties them all together as one person, but the fact that they're all up in the same neighborhood over this type of a time frame, we're trying to figure out exactly what's going on.
It sounds like this is being investigated as basically one person may be responsible for this whole string of fires, and it's not necessarily just random chance.
Nah, that's not true. We have several people we're looking at. We haven't nailed this down to just one person at this point.
Is a possibility that they're working in concert if it's more than one?
There's all kinds of possibilities. Right now, we're looking at several people, and we're trying to figure out exactly what's going on.
Are these related fires to anywhere else around town, or is it just predominantly right here? Are we seeing any other streams of fires in the south side of town?
The ones we're working in as a joint effort to determine right now are the furthest west one we had was the 400 Hay Street, and the furthest known fire we're investigating possibly tied to the string is on North 9th Street, and our furthest north is 1900 block of North 6th Street.
What was the last fire? What was the date of the last fire that you're looking at in conjunction?
The last one was the 400 Hay Street. That was a vehicle fire on 518.
And again, that's all considered the Enos Park area, even that one that's farthest north and farthest south, that's all still considered Enos Park.
Right now we're classifying them as the Enos Park area.
You said you can't give us any insight at all as to how these were started. I mean, should somebody be looking out for somebody who's walking around with a gas can, or?
They're all being investigated at this point. We don't want to release too much information. We do have persons we're looking into and different causes we're looking into.
Not to get too dramatic about it, but are there signs that somebody could use to spot a potential firebug? You know, if this is in fact what it is, the type of profiling that goes into trying to determine who might be the type of person who would want to do something like this?
I wish there was, because if we had the person with the black mask and the gas can in his hand running away, we would have this solved by now. But unfortunately, it's not that easy.
Safe to say, if you see somebody walking around in your neighborhood with a gas can, probably ought to call somebody.
And I don't want to get too stuck on the gas can thing. That was just a phrase I used. Right now, at one scene, we do have evidence of accelerant, but I don't want to get too stuck on the gas can thing.
Have we seen a string of fires like this before in town?
I've been a fire investigator for about 7 years now, and this is probably the biggest string of fires that I've seen in a while that are, you know, this many in that short a time span.
And the first one, you said the last one was the 18th, and the first one was on the 7th?
First one we're classifying in this group was on the May 2nd.
Second.
Is that what you said?
I think so.
Since we're now 10 days removed from the last one, do you have any sense as to why, after having so many in such a compact time frame, that they just stopped?
That's something we're looking into too. Now I don't have any clue why it stopped all of a sudden.
Is it possible that whoever did this may have moved on to a different area now? And so should this alert go beyond just this neighborhood and tell everybody around the community, just be watchful?
We have no reason to believe there's anything else going on at this point.
So no more suspicious fires since the 18th?
No.
Just on your point there, Jim, absolutely though, people should always be on the lookout, anything in their neighborhood, whether it be arson, burglaries. If there's people out in your neighborhood, especially late at night, let us know.
And would you recommend again calling 911 or what's...
If you see something actually happening, somebody that looks like they're in a car, they're starting a fire, call 911. If there's somebody breaking into a house, call 911. If it's just a suspicious person you see walking through the neighborhood, you can call the non-emergency number and we'll come out and check them out.
And give us that best number to call for that.
788-8311. We'll get you right straight to dispatch. It's non-emergency, and they'll be able to get your information and get it out to the cars.
Just to restate what Captain Ruger said and Chief Busher said, if you see suspicious activity in your neighborhoods, we urge you to call the number that Chief Busher mentioned. If you see somebody that looks like they're attempting to start a fire, call 911 right away. And we, working in concert with the police department and the fire department, we hope to get this resolved as quickly as possible.
Is there any way to put a price tag on the damage?
We could get that to you, Kirk, but we don't have that at our fingertips at this press conference. Thank you.